Okay, hello everybody. hello, and welcome, my friends. The time has finally come. I hope that you guys are excited for a fun stream for today. Today is Sunday, May 20th, 2018. I'm Darkside Phil. I am very excited, although it's a bittersweet excitement. It is undoubtedly a bittersweet excitement. Okay, allow me to explain why it is a bittersweet day for me. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the final session ever that I will be playing Ultra Street Fighter 2. That's right. That's it. This is it. Stick a fork in it. And in fact, this is probably the last time, for quite some time that I'm going to be playing my Switch. I can't even think of the next time I'll be playing the Nintendo Switch. Maybe when the new Smash Brothers comes out, if it does come out later this year, which is the reporting. But quite frankly, I just have nothing else to play on this console, and I guess what I should do before we even get started with today's festivities and me explaining to you why it's the final time I'm playing and what's coming up, what I do want to say is this: very special thanks to the person who last year did me a really good solid. If you guys aren't aware, last year I bought the Nintendo Switch at launch. I got it online from Best Buy, and my Switch bricked itself overnight. I never even got to play the damn thing. Okay? And so I just returned it for credit, and that was it. You couldn't buy a Switch anywhere. And then by the time that they were available online, I couldn't get one. I didn't have the money for it. So it was a fan of mine who was so upset about this situation, okay, that they actually donated a Switch to me. They were able to buy one and get it shipped direct to me. And the rest is history. Over the last year that I've had a Nintendo Switch, I played such various games as obviously Ultra Street Fighter 2, ARMS, the original fighting game for the Switch. How long that lasted? Like 3 days. Super Mario, well, actually it's Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, as well as Super Mario Odyssey. So obviously it was very hit or miss, my experiences with the Switch over the last year. However, Super Mario Odyssey ended up being my game of the year for 2017. It was so damned good, you know, and it's hilarious because some people still think to this day that I don't like Nintendo. I'm a Nintendo hater, even though I made Mario my game of the year last year. And if you actually look at all the games that I've played in the last year, the game that I have gone back to the most and played the most overall, if you actually add it up, is Ultra Street Fighter 2. I've played more Ultra Street Fighter 2 than any other game in the last year. And that's crazy because, that being said, you know, it's not a great game. It really isn't. You know, Ultra Street Fighter 2 is one of the worst versions of Street Fighter 2 ever created. The online connections by default are terrible because most people use wireless on the Switch because that's the default built in. You actually have to buy an adapter in order to get an Ethernet, you know, wired Ethernet connection, which means most of the connections are laggy garbage. In addition, not a lot of people play it, so it's hard to find good matches. And when you do, 9 times out of 10, it's someone abusing one of the overpowered boss characters in ranked online play, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever. I mean, the game's been a joke since it launched in the competitive community, because people know it's a broken mess. But, that being said, Ultra Street Fighter 2 was the only game that was available that was a modernized version of Street Fighter 2 for me to play. I have not played Street Fighter 2 on a regular basis since way back when Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remix was out, back on the Xbox 360 and PS3. So that was quite some time since I was able to play and enjoy classic Street Fighter. Even with all of its incredible amount of shortcomings, I very much enjoyed playing Ultra Street Fighter 2 over the last year. And so I do want to say very special thanks, number one, to that person who did go out of their way to donate to me a Switch and made this possible this last year of coverage. Real talk, more than likely my Switch is barely going to get any use moving forward. It's probably just going to collect dust, except for maybe 1 or 2 major first-party Nintendo games that'll come out for it a year. But outside of that, you know, it was fun. This last year was great. Between Mario Odyssey, Ultra Street Fighter 2, and I would even say Mario plus Rabbids, which was great. You know, I had a lot of fun with the console, and thank you very much for making that possible. I also want to say thank you to all of you who tuned into my Switch coverage, or in particular, my Ultra Street Fighter 2 videos. Because this is what I grew up with. I grew up in video arcades playing Street Fighter 2 on an arcade cabinet against in-person competition. It took a lot of guts and a lot of courage to do so, because back then it was a lot different. It's not like you're playing anonymously online, and you had to, man up and be, face these people face to face. A lot of times there was shit talking and bullying and stuff involved, And I had to basically, overcome that in order to play and learn these games in person. There was no online guides. There were no online videos or streams. It was all about what you learned in person playing real people. And it was a ton of fun. My youth was a unique time in history that will never happen again. Real talk, it just won't. You'll never see that again because now we've got so much advancement in technology and the internet and everything, but it didn't exist back then. So, for me, over the last year, to play Ultra Street Fighter 2 and share all that knowledge and that gameplay experience from my youth with you guys for a year was a ton of fun, alright? So there's good news and bad news. I mean, the bad news is this is it for the Switch, pretty much. We're kind of writing off the game. I pretty much won't be using the Switch much at all anymore. And this is it for Ultra Street Fighter 2. This will be the final session, guys, where I'm going to have to face the overpowered boss characters of Akuma, Evil Ryu, and V-Ken, because number one, 2 of them only exist in this version of the game. And number 2, in the arcade version, which is the next version I'll be playing, supposedly, Akuma is not allowed in, ranked competition, online competition. He's not a serious character that you can pick. He's been banned, so this is the last hurrah for the overpowered nonsense, okay? Thank God, because I'm tired of it. They should have been in the game to begin with. If they were in the game just in, casual play, they should not have been allowed in online ranked play. It's ludicrous that they were, okay? Now, all that being said, this should still be a fun session, all right? The final session ever of Ultra Street Fighter 2. How am I going to approach it? Well, I think what I'm going to do to start off, I am going to try to pick, like, every major character except the boss characters. You guys know I hate the bosses. So I'll probably go through the whole cast. And I'm going to do a practice what's called Around the World. If you don't know what that means, it means that in a game like Street Fighter, where every character is from a different region of Earth, you basically go through the entire character list match by match and pick the different characters in a row. So the first potentially 16 matches that I'm going to play of Ultra Street Fighter 2 here, I'm going to pick the 8 main cast members, the 4 bosses, and the 4 expansion characters from Super. So right there's 16 matches right there of me picking every character at least once. Then once I've played every character at least once for a set, then maybe I'll start taking stream requests. Maybe I'll do random select, we'll see. But I do want to play every character at least once before we mix it up, okay? That way at least I've got one final major session of every character, every main character in the game before we retire. This session will be lasting roughly 4 hours. Obviously, it's hit or miss depending on how many people we can find. Usually when I've played Ultra Street Fighter 2, it's been difficult to find opponents, but once I do, it's usually smooth sailing. Like, yes, sometimes there is downtime between the matches, but the streams have gone good. The streams in general have worked out well. Now, you may be saying, well, wait a minute. Why is this the final session? If you've played this game so much over the past year, if you've loved playing Street Fighter 2, albeit all its shortcomings, right? Has a lot of shortcomings, bad internet connections because everyone's using the wireless and the boss characters in ranked matches. But why are you saying that's it? Why won't you keep playing the game on and off? We've loved how you've played it on and off for the last year. Well, here's the good news. The good news, guys, is that coming up in a week from Tuesday, so it's actually going to be the 29th of May, the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection is being released for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and yes, the Nintendo Switch. So even those who are going to continue to play games on their Switches, alright, are still going to be playing Street Fighter. They're just not, everyone's going to be dropping Ultra Street Fighter 2. Like, there's literally no reason to keep playing this game, okay? This collection, excuse me, includes every major version of Street Fighter, from Street Fighter 1 all the way through Street Fighter Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. So you're talking every version of the game from the early 90s through the very late the early 90s to the very late 90s. If I remember, Third Strike came out right before the 2000s. If I remember correctly, I think it was like 98 or 99. 12 different games. Now, the good news is, that's a great collection where if you really want to go through the history of classic arcade Street Fighter, you can play every version. You know, even you can see how these characters have evolved over time, the art style, etc. However, only 4 of the games are available to play online in a multiplayer capacity. And those games are as follows. Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, which is the 3rd version of Street Fighter 2. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which is the 5th and final version of Street Fighter 2. This is the game that Ultra Street Fighter 2 is based off of, and it's the one that I'm the best at in a tournament competitive capacity. I can actually do really well in that game. Alright. Then there's going to be Street Fighter Alpha 3, the final game in the Alpha series. Sadly, I do feel that Street Fighter Alpha 2 was a better game on a competitive level. A lot of people disagree with me and think it was Alpha 3. I think that's why they made Alpha 3 the online game. I'm not very good at Alpha 3. I played it a lot in arcades, but I didn't necessarily like it that much. The game was pretty broken and unbalanced. There was a cast of maybe, I'd say, 5 characters in the game who could actually hang at a competitive level and completely dominated everybody else, mostly because of V-ism. V-ism is this custom combo-ism where you create shadow characters who do tons of block degradation, and what they would do is hit you in these blocking patterns where you couldn't get out, and then break your block, and then do giant damage combos for like 40-50% damage. It was pretty broken. The game itself is a pretty unbalanced, broken game. That being said, I'm still going to play Street Fighter Alpha 3. I never was very good at it, but I would like to definitely experiment with all the different characters and play it online and see how people actually pull out stuff, you know, like these amazing V combos in lag and stuff. I would be very impressed to see it, okay? And then, of course, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, the final version of Street Fighter 3. This is the one everyone played and everyone talks about. And actually, the game, originally Street Fighter 3 was not very popular, but it ended up growing in popularity as the later versions came out and the game was tweaked to be more balanced. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is the most balanced of all of them and ended up getting a hardcore following by the end of the run of like the classic Street Fighters. I'd say right before Street Fighter 4 came out, it was almost at the height of its hardcore gaming popularity. And then when Street Fighter 4 came out, it just blew everything away and everyone forgot about the old games. So, yeah, so this is going to be great. There's going to be 4 games to play online. More than likely, I'll be playing Super Turbo, Alpha 3, and Third Strike a lot online. There's going to be so much content within all of this collection that there's no way I'm going back to Ultra Street Fighter 2. I can't imagine a single person playing this game again. Besides people who just don't know how to play Street Fighter and who have been mashing Dragon Punches with V-Ken or throwing fireballs with Akuma, everyone else is going to be playing the collection. Alright? So this is it. This is the final hurrah, the last chance, the Lance Vance last dance for Ultra Street Fighter 2. There you go. And I'm excited. You know, today should be fun. But it is, like I said, it is kind of bittersweet. This is a game that I played for an entire year, and to see it go goodbye is kind of sad. At the same time, I'm very much looking forward to the collection. I cannot wait. This is a game, this collection, I'm probably going to get a ridiculous amount of content out of. Even if the online connection ain't great. You know, just playing through all these different games, the versions of them, and showing you guys all the stuff that I've learned and known about Super Turbo over the years. And Third Strike, I can't wait to get back into Third Strike. You know, I like to play with Hugo, Ken, Oro, Urian, amongst a few others that I've tried. You know, I like that game a lot, and I cannot wait to play more of it. I haven't played it in years now. So I am super pumped. I hope you guys are too. Okay? Alright. Yes, that's right. And Anel the Bear says, ready to see you on this collection with the other tryhards. That's right. The kids who want to try hard to just squeak out cheesy wins online. I cannot wait. It's going to be fun. Alright. So, there you go, guys. That's what you can expect today. Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final session. And then we take a break for Street Fighter for a little over a week until the collection releases. And then, boom. Tons of content, tons of coverage of Street Fighter coming forward in in about a week's time. So, as you guys can see, we've got the leaderboard up. Where we're going to have the current sub counter. We're also going to have top cheer and top tip being counted. So for those who contribute today with cheers, subs, or tips, you will get a chance to be up on that leaderboard. Right now, it looks like we got 1 cheer today, so someone's going to get up there quickly. Once I get into shoutouts, I'll start updating that. But yeah, that's going to be a running thing. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'm going to put that on the bottom of the screen. Even though I know for pre-stream we kind of can't see it. It's better for the bottom of the screen when I play Street Fighter. So that will be a running thing going on during the course of today's stream. In addition, just want to throw this out there. The sub goal for the month I did lower. Originally it was 475, but finally, boom, we had this giant explosion during my time away in the past couple of days where all those gifted subs that came last month were expired. Okay, they all expired. So that was over 30 subs, and we plummeted in sub count. I knew this was going to happen, so I've lowered the sub goal to 450. If we can hit 450 subs by the end of this month, so that's 11 days left in the month, guys. What I'm going to do is a special Street Fighter Anniversary Collection Master Run Challenge event where I'm going to, in one sitting, a 7 to 8 hour long stream, I'm going to attempt to beat the arcade modes of every version of Street Fighter 2, Alpha, and Street Fighter 3 on the hardest difficulty. It's going to be rage-filled, salt-filled. It should be a lot of fun for those watching for various reasons. I've never done a challenge run like this ever before in my life. I want to do it. I think it would be a very entertaining event. However, you know, we need to hit the sub goal in order to make it happen. So please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not. Number one, you get access to all of my emotes. Number two, you get the cool chat crown badge that will change in color the longer that you're a supporter. And of course, when I run advertisements, you won't have to watch them. You don't have to watch the ads at all. And I do take at least 1 to 2 ad breaks during every stream. Okay. So, and yes, Purio Niku, I am going to be playing the Street Fighter collection for longer than just, you know, he says, I'd like to see you play them for a week or two. I'm going to be alternating the collection with the new releases for a while. Like, what you're going to see is I'm going to be focusing on the collection for, you know, several days to a week. And then when the new releases come out that next week, they will take priority on the streams, the main streams. But I'll probably continue to play the Anniversary Collection at night as my nighttime stream and balance between the variety of the games. That's the thing. There's so many games in this collection that every day, potentially, I could alternate between the 3 major ones to play online. I could do different kinds of, you know, stuff every night. And it wouldn't get stale because there's so much in this collection. It's crazy amount of content. So it should be great. All right, so now, guys, let's go ahead. Let's very quickly cover the schedule so you guys know what to expect. I'm actually working for the next 6 straight days without a break. Today, Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final stream, the final Salty Sunday right now. Tonight, no second stream because I will be doing the weekend preview. In addition, I have some patron stuff. I have to do some private patron Q&A videos tonight that they earned via their perks. So, no second stream tonight. Tomorrow, we return to double streams with State of Decay 2 and Yakuza 6. Yakuza 6, FYI, is heading into the end game. For those who don't know, I'm starting up Chapter 10, and I believe the game only has 12 chapters. So, it's actually looking like within a week or two, I might actually finish Yakuza 6, which is a good thing. Because it's not good to have a big lingering game like that. And we're almost done, I think. So, yeah, we're very quickly approaching the end. Okay. So that's Monday. Tuesday, the premiere of H1Z1 on consoles. Okay, this is supposed to be the granddaddy, one of the earlier versions of the survival battle royale style game for PC that was very popular years ago and kind of died out in popularity. Well, they basically saw how popular PUBG got, as well as Fortnite on consoles. They said, well, we got to cash in on that. So H1Z1 comes out this week for consoles. I'll be checking that out on Tuesday and balancing that probably with more State of Decay 2. And more than likely, it'll be a balance between H1Z1 and State of Decay 2 for a couple days there. I may squeeze in another session of Yakuza 6 just for variety's sake. Okay? Then on Friday of this week is the premiere of Detroit Become Human. I will be playing it all day long, both on my first and second gameplay stream, so you can expect over 6 hours of Detroit Become Human gameplay during launch day this coming Friday. And then this Saturday, which would be the 26th, is my day off. My first day off in like 8-9 days. So, quite some time, quite the streak. But then I need a day off to finally recuperate and also to, you know, to go shopping and the like. And then I'll be back that Sunday, the 27th, with more Detroit Become Human, more than likely trying to finish up my first run of the game. All right. And then that next week will be a balance between my second run of Detroit Become Human and my Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, 30th Anniversary Collection coverage. Okay? Fair enough? Sounds good? So that's some crazy stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun these next few weeks. All these new releases coming out. It's going to be a ton of fun leading into June. Of course, keep in mind, June, not only a big month for releases with Vampire, Shaq Fu, Jurassic World Evolution, among like 3 or 4 other games. We've also got E3. So it's going to be a crazy fun June as well coming up for to start the summer off. Right. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited too for the future streams and everything coming up. It's going to be great. Okay? Very, very, very pumped. Okay, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think right now. Super Blind Man in the chat actually asked, is the collection only going to be available for the Switch? No, 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 no. It's going to be for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. So, no matter what console is your forte, you will be able to partake in classic Street Fighter goodness. Now, in particular to Super Blind Man, I don't know how accessible the collection will be. I don't know if Capcom has ever typically been, I hate to say it, so conscious of those who may have, you know, various different disabilities when it comes to being able to play their games. I don't know if the collection will be able, you know what I mean? Like, oh, the collection is great, it has so much content, but if you can't really see that well, can you navigate the menus easily? Will there be prompts? You know, will there be easy ways to figure stuff out? I don't know. That's kind of a question, sadly, that I think we're going to have to find out firsthand. And one thing about Capcom in particular, when they usually hash these collections together, they don't necessarily add all the bells and whistles. You know what I mean? It's not like a AAA game where they think about that shit. So I guess we'll have to see how it fares in that regard. All right. So, thank you guys very much for listening to the schedule and listening to the pre-stream. I think now what we're going to do very briefly here. All right. Very briefly here. I'm going to do some quick plugs. Then we're going to start doing shout-outs for those who have cheered, subbed, and tipped to contribute already to today's stream. And then we're going to get started with the final session of Ultra Street Fighter 2, guys. The last hurrah. Right? Okay. All right, guys. So, thank you guys for 10 years. And what I mean by that is, can you believe this year is the 10th anniversary of me being a content creator for the internet? I can't believe it. It does seem like a really long freaking time ago. What you guys got to realize, it's almost a third of my life that I've been doing this. First for a hobby for 2.5 years, and then for a living for the past 6. Okay? So, 10 years that I have made content for the internet and enjoyed the hell out of it and just had a lot of fun doing it, man. Seriously. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who watch my stuff, whether you watch my streams on YouTube, whether you watch my streams on YouTube. Let's try this again. Whether you watch my streams on Twitch, whether you watch my on-demand videos on YouTube. That's better. Whatever it is, however you watch, however you enjoy, thank you for 10 years of support, and, you know, and keep going. If I could do anything about it, I'm not going anywhere. Okay, guys? That being said, if you would like to aid in my ability to continue to do this as a full-time thing and daily put out fun, free, interactive, and entertaining gameplay streams with my live reactions as well as those fun on-demand videos on YouTube, there are a few ways that you could go above and beyond just being a standard viewer. These are those ways. Okay. Number 1. There's Patreon, ladies and gentlemen. If you go to patreon.com/DarksidePhil, you will find my Patreon campaign where your monthly contributions help me out in just basically operating the business, the day-to-day costs, the cost of games, the cost of electricity, internet, equipment, all the stuff that goes into doing this full-time. It can be pretty pricey, and your Patreon pledges directly help with that stuff, okay? Now, the cool thing about pledging to my Patreon is you immediately will get something back when you qualify for a perk level. So just a few examples of the perks you can earn by pledging to my Patreon. You get premium forum access where you can nominate games for upcoming events. Like, for example, right now, people who pledged to my Patreon last month are nominating games for the upcoming Patron's Choice playthrough. And I'll have an update on that within the next couple of weeks. In fact, more than likely within the next week, I'll be closing off the nominations and putting up a poll for the final week of May. Okay? Number 2, you can get text or verbal thank yous in my YouTube videos for your contributions. You could even get your questions answered on my bi-monthly Q&A show, Ask the King. Or you can even get a private Q&A video made for yourself, one that's just your own personal questions. All right. So all that being said, all right, for all that being said, thank you to you guys who do already contribute to my Patreon. I very, very much appreciate everything that you guys contribute. And thanks to anyone who maybe gives it a look and maybe, you know, thinks about contributing in the future moving forward. Patreon.com/DarkSidePhil. Number 2, there's my Teespring store where you can buy fun merchandise like t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, and mugs, all with artwork and logos designed by viewers and fans who are very talented, by the way. I can personally attest to the quality of all the products there because I own a ton of them. I own the shirts, I own a sweatshirt, and I own a mug. A mug I use every single day here on stream. Great stuff. So give it a look at teespring.com/stores/DSPGaming. Anything you guys buy, I get commission from, and it helps me out directly. Plus, you get a cool collectible. All right. Now, certainly, last but not least, guys, if you're here live on the stream, and what I mean by that is there are some people who watch this pre-stream on YouTube, so I am aware some people are watching it and are not here live. But for those of you who are here live right now, watching the stream as I broadcast it, and you are excited, it's the final time you'll ever see Evil Ryu, V Cannon, or Kuma. It's the final Ultra Street Fighter 2 hype stream. And you're not only, you know, pumped for that, but you want to maybe get a shout out during the stream. Maybe you want to suggest I pick a character. Maybe you have a comment about a certain match or something that happened, all right? If you want to get a shout out during the stream, there's 3 ways you could do it. You could either cheer with bits, you can sub to my channel here, or you could tip me. If you do any of those 3 things, I will give you a verbal shout out during the stream. Keep in mind, this is a fighting game stream. It will have to happen between the matches. But I will do my best to look for these between the matches and give you your appropriate shout-outs, all right? Now, there's a couple ground rules for this. Number 1, please be concise. The least words you use, or the less words you use, the more to the point that you are, all right, the higher chance I'm going to read your whole comment and or respond to it. If you give me a giant long-winded paragraph, I'm probably not going to derail the entire stream for 5 minutes to read it. So there you go. The shorter, the better. Number 2, please try to keep it positive. Please try to keep it on topic. What I mean by that is, number 1, please don't start bringing up controversial topics like politics or religion. I'm not going to address those. Number 2, please don't bring up negativity. I don't care if some Joe Splomoni streamer is restreaming my content illegally. I don't care if some YouTuber is talking shit about me. I don't want to hear insults about myself or others. This is all stuff that needs to stay off my streams. I'm here to do positive, fun gameplay content for you, and trust me, there'll be enough rage on the stream to entertain everyone. We don't need artificially fabricated rage because of negative shoutouts. All right, so please try to stay positive, on topic, and please do not try to derail the stream with negativity. In general, the vast majority of people who do contribute during my streams get it, and the streams end up being a fun experience, so thanks to everyone who does and gets it. Now, that being said, there's also the possibility of getting an animation, an actual visual representation of your contributions. How do you do that? How do you get an animation to play on stream? Well, if you either cheer 50 bits or more, if you subscribe to the channel and kind of hang out for a few minutes, and a share button will pop up. If you click on that share button, okay, or if you tip me $5 or more, if you do any of those things, I will play an on-screen animation that not only shows your message, but, you know, a cool kind of thank you animation. It's entertaining, it's fun, adds to the stream. It's a good way to both get visual and verbal, you know, thanks for anything you contribute, all right? So that's pretty awesome. Now, one final thing before we get to the shout-outs, all right? Some of you may be listening right now, and you're like, well, I understand how to cheer with bits, and I understand how to subscribe to the channel, because those things are literally in front of my face as I watch the stream. But how do I tip? I don't understand. There's a tips process that must be separate from Twitch's stuff, right? You're absolutely correct. You could tip me via 2 methods, all right? The first method is if you're watching the stream live right now and you scroll below the stream, you may see a grid of information, a bunch of buttons, per se. One of them says tips jar, and if you click on it, it'll take you to my tips page where you can either leave an anonymous tip or you can leave your name in a message if you'd like a shout out, as I had mentioned previously on this pre-stream. Or maybe you just looked for that stuff and you can't find it. I don't understand. I scrolled down. I don't see any information. You're probably on a mobile version of the site, and the mobile version doesn't display that stuff. If that is the case, okay, then what you can do is type !tip into the stream chat, and the bot, Nightbot, will bring up the chat command that will bring you the link, and you can click on the link and do it directly that way. All right. Yes, it is completely separate. That's through PayPal. It's not through the bits processing system or, you know, the subs processing system. So it is a different system, and I wanted to just throw that out there so you know how to do it. Okay. Sound good? All right. Now, guys, it's time for shout-outs. For those who have contributed, right, via cheers, subbing, and tipping, I want to say thank you, so let's get your shout-outs going. Keep in mind, I am going to update the leaderboard here with the top cheerer. Right now, FYI, guys, right now we have a quadruple tie for top cheer, which is only 25 bits. So, hint, hint, if everyone actually wants to get on the leaderboard by the time I'm done with shout-outs, you got to top that, all right? So, first of all, I want to give a shout-out to King Swaggins, who did a few cheers before the stream even started. So, let's go through his cheers and see what he had to say. His first cheer, he asks, am I looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077? He says, I really hope people don't overhype that shit just because it's the next game made by CD Projekt Red. The Witcher 3 was massively overrated. Well, King Swaggins, I disagree with you there. I think The Witcher 3 was a great game. In fact, I think it was the game that had some of the most meaningful content of any open-world RPG ever. Every mission you did seemed like they actually spent time on it. Not ever did you play the game and feel like, man, this is just a boring collection mission where they didn't do a good job. Everything felt kind of well-polished and well done. Although, the game did have bugs, and I do feel the combat engine of Witcher 3 was inferior to modern RPGs. The game excelled in a lot of ways. Cyberpunk, I mean, it seems like it's going to be a different style of game. I mean, anything that's going to be set in a futuristic sci-fi setting, right, is definitely going to be different. I don't know how it's going to be. I'm excited to see how it turns out, for sure. But you're right. I think undoubtedly what's going to end up happening, the game's going to get insane amounts of hype just because it's made by CD Projekt Red. And you know what? That may put an undue amount of pressure on them. Because, you know, they've been working on the Witcher franchise for quite some time. That's their baby. And now switching over to something different may prove challenging or daunting for them. What if they can't live up to the expectation that they have now set by making such an amazing RPG franchise in the past? It's going to be tricky. It's definitely going to be tricky for them. But we'll see what happens. But I am looking forward to it, being that I did really like Witcher 3. Thought it was one of the best games of that year. So, alright, King Swag shoot again. He says, I take it you're massively hyped for the Division 2. I think you should give it a chance if you're going with H1 and those style of games. Well, here's the thing. The Division 1 has nothing to do with that style of game. The Division 1 was a co-op online shooter with bullet sponge enemies. Okay? Think Destiny, only it was in a more realistic setting and definitely a different kind of design to the gunplay and everything. But it has nothing to do with this Battle Royale formula at all. So I think you're a little off base here. I don't think you really understand what it is. There's two fads in gaming going on right now. There is the Battle Royale fad with games like DayZ, H1Z1, PUBG, Fortnite. But then there's the other fad, the online cooperative shooter. The Division, Destiny, what's the other one? Ghost Recon Wildlands. Those are the ones that are following that kind of the bandwagon per se. Okay, I don't think that Division 2 is anything like H1Z1. That being said, I didn't play the Division 1. A lot of people gave me shit for it, and then within a month, no one gave me shit for it. Basically, people were like, well, good thing you didn't play it. You didn't miss anything. The game really wasn't great. It was only fun if you played it cooperatively. Basically, every criticism I heard for Destiny applied to the Division. And even though people still play it to this day, it seems like only people who were like hardcore, you know, people who played it with friends really cared about it. So it seems like a lot of these kind of, I hate to say it, uninspired kind of disposable games are coming out these days. Games you can completely skip, and you've missed absolutely nothing because they didn't innovate, they didn't add anything to gaming, they certainly didn't put enough effort into them to make it be considered a work of art. Instead, it's just a cooperative run and gun, you know, shoot enough bullets until the enemy has 4,000 numbers fly out of his body until he dies kind of experiences. And the Division 2 sounds like it's going to be more of the same. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe at E3 we'll see so much information, the game will be amazing, but I just remember for years, the Division was so hyped. I saw, what, 3 or 4 different E3s, they were hyping it. Then it finally came out, and it was so deflating of what the game actually ended up being. So it is what it is, guys. I'm not very excited for the Division. I'm just saying. Division 2, that is. Alright, and King Swangers did one more cheer. And he said, do random for the entire session or play every character in the game at least once. As I've said here on the pre-stream, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing what's called Around the World. Alright, and you may not know what that means, so allow me to explain. I'm going to be playing every character besides the boss characters, because I don't want to pick them, and they're not fun to play with for me, because they're too overpowered. So, there's 16 normal characters in the game. That means for the first 16 matches, I'll be picking a different character for every match. I'm going to go through the original 8, than the 4 boss characters in, from Champion Edition, which are Balrog, Vega, Sagat, and m.bison. And then I'll be moving on to the expansion characters from Super Street Fighter, including Fei Long, T-Hawk, DJ, and Cammy. Then when I've played all 16 of those characters, then I'll consider, okay, will I take stream chat requests for who you want to see? Will I go random select? I'm not sure. But at the very least, we're going to have 16 straight up matches here with the, diverse cast of Street Fighter 2. And it should be a lot of fun. Okay? All right, now we're moving on to those who have cheered, subbed, and tipped during the actual stream now. And so these people will be getting up on the leaderboard. However, as I said, we have like a quadruple tie for top cheer. So hint, hint, if someone actually wants to get top cheer, it's not very hard. You just have to do bigger than 25 bits, okay? So the first cheer today is from Big TJ. He did a 25-bit cheer. He said, "Afternoon, sire." You don't have to call me sire. The King of Hate moniker is more of a very, very old, outdated kind of a thing. Although, in this day and age, with the amount of people who hate me for really stupid reasons, I think maybe it still applies, right? But anyway, thank you for the cheer, Big TJ. Kate cheered and said, "Happy Taco Sunday, Phil." For Kate, every day is a taco day. Maybe she's a huge friend of tacos. I don't know. Incidentally, today for dinner, I think I'm going to be going out and maybe getting some tacos. And no, not from fucking Taco Bell, from an actual local place that does really great Mexican food. Because we don't have anything really to cook today. And we've been cooking all week since I came back from break. And we're tired of cooking. And we just want a break from it. So, wow, my Switch just turned off, by the way. I forgot to move the controller around and my Switch powered down. I forgot that actually happened. So I got to go press power on the damn thing now. Okay, let's try this again. I totally forgot that the Switch just turns itself off after a while. There we go. Okay. Shout out to Jason Lee Anadio, who cheered 25 bits and says, "Phil, if you considered changing the Street Fighter event to a tier rush, play the arcade mode each game starting with top tier, then have open challenges so subs can freely challenge. If they wish, you have to pick the worst and worst characters throughout the cast for that game and then run out of characters. You retire that game's arcade mode, whatever." That is not going to be what the event's going to be. That is way too complicated, and most people won't even understand what the hell it is. All right, if my audience were 100% fighting game heads, meaning they watch streams, they understand, they would get it. That's it's hard for me to understand and explain that. No, I'm not. Maybe will I do that? I mean, something I would consider doing as a special event. That's not what the event's going to be for subs. No way. Way too overcomplicated and convoluted. By the way, it probably wouldn't lend itself well to rage. In addition, my event, tons of rage, which is what people want to see. So, Ugly Turtle Duckling just cheered 25 bits and said, "Will you be playing the Overwatch anniversary event? They're bringing back all special events and brawls. It would be cool to see you play Retribution and Uprising. Been watching your channel on and off for months. Hope your Sunday is good." No. I've not played Overwatch in a year. The last time I played it, no lie, was when, what's his name, Doomfist was released, which was like a year ago. I haven't seen any of the new maps. I haven't played the game in so long. I'm sure the whole game is rebalanced. Overwatch was a great game when it launched, and it was a great game for about a year that I played on and off, and I really enjoyed it. And then I moved on. A lot of people have done the same, although a lot of people have stuck around and played it. There's no reason for me to go back and invest more time and effort into Overwatch. I'm not playing it, but thank you for the cheer. Random Ghost cheered 25 bits and says, "I'll get you to 450 subs if you get the Switch version of Street Fighter as an extra game. I think it'll be worth the content." Well, first of all, for those who don't know, this is actually a good point. Thank you, Random Ghost, for bringing this up, because I've not mentioned this whatsoever. For those who are interested in maybe partaking in the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, maybe you're like, "Man, this would be cool. I've never really played Throwback Street Fighter. I don't know much about it, but it seems like, because Phil's been plugging it a lot, it seems like it has a lot of content, maybe I'll get it," right? If you pre-order the game on any of the consoles, including Switch, PS4, or Xbox One, you also will receive Ultra Street Fighter 4. If you don't know what that is, that's the final version of Street Fighter 4 before the game was retired because Street Fighter 5 came out. So not only are you going to get every version of Street Fighter 1, 2, and 3, you're also going to get the final balanced version of Street Fighter 4 all in one. Okay, that's pretty crazy that they're doing that. At the same time, I think Capcom realizes no one's buying Street Fighter 4 anymore, so you might as well just give it away. So it truly is an anniversary collection, since you're getting every version of the game besides the most modern one for the same price, okay? And I think that's what Random Ghost is saying here. All right, Random Ghost is saying, If I'll get you to 450 subs if you get the Switch version of it. All right. Now, Random Ghost, there's one thing you have to understand. All right. Number one, I'm not made of money. Real talk, I'm not. These days, everything is penny pinching. Everything is very tight for me. I'm behind on taxes. No lie. I'm behind right now on taxes to the point where I don't even know how things are going to go for the rest of the year. I really have to count on a really good year in order to get everything paid off by the end of the year and not having to think about things like selling my house and moving to pay stuff that I owe. This is real talk with you guys. I haven't burned this up in a while. I don't have a lot of disposable income. I'm already buying this game for the PS4. Someone has already offered to give me a code for the Xbox One, to which I said, great, if you have a code, I will take it, because I would love to play with fans both on PS4 and Xbox One. All right. The Switch version of the game, even though I do feel it will run just as good as the PS4 and Xbox One versions, undoubtedly is going to be the worst, because most people who play games on the Switch use the wireless internet. It's going to be laggy as fuck. No matter what, the game is guaranteed to be worse on the Switch because of that. Now, I have a controller right here, right in my hands. It's the Pokken Tournament controller. This is the controller for the last year that I've used to play fighting games on the Switch. So if I did get this game on the Switch, all right, I would have a way to play. I have a controller that's ample to play Street Fighter, okay? So in that case, I don't think it would be that big of a deal. However, me dropping $60 to buy a version of a game that, number one, I know is going to be inferior. I know it's going to be inferior, all right? And number two, I mean, how often are you guys going to want to see me play on the Switch all the laggy connections when you know I could play on PS4 or Xbox One and it's going to be a better overall experience, okay? Now, I understand that there's probably some people who in the last year that I've played Ultra Street Fighter 2, okay, who bought a Switch and they have Ultra Street Fighter 2, they only own a Switch, and they're going to buy this collection for the Switch, and they're disappointed, and they're like, man, now I won't be able to play Phil. I get that, and listen, I'm not saying no. What I'm saying is, right now, it's not likely that I'm going to have $60 extra to drop on a third version, the far inferior version. Now, Random Ghost is saying he's going to get my subs up to 450 subs, okay, if I get the Switch version of Street Fighter. I don't know if he's saying he's going to gift a ridiculous amount of subscriptions. I mean, right now, we're a good 50, almost 70 subs away. So if you were to gift that many subs, I mean, you're talking a ridiculous amount of money, dude. If I did get that many subs, that would be more than enough to cover the cost of Ultra Street Fighter 2 on the Switch. All right? So how about this? How about this, guys? I'm going to add additive incentive to sub to the channel right now, just because of Random Ghost suggesting this. If we hit 450 subscribers by the end of May, not only will I be committing to doing the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection Master Run Challenge Marathon event, I will also buy this on the Switch. How about that? I'm committing to it 100%. If we hit 450 subscribers by the end of this month, I will buy the Anniversary Collection on the Switch. All right. There you go. Now, there's a double incentive to subscribe to the channel this month. Sounds good? But, again, it's a lot of money to invest into a game that I know is the inferior version. So, if we can cover it, you know, then fine. But that's what I mean. You're talking 70 plus subs. I really don't realistically see that happening. I'm just being real with you guys, okay? So there you go. All right. Let's keep going. Shout out to Anonymous. I got an anonymous $5 tip. Okay. He says, do you think that in competitive fighting games, should a tournament player master one character or team, or should the person be good on various characters to counter-pick? Was counter-fighting when you competed considered cheap and tasteless? So some of you may not even know what he's talking about. Allow me to explain in a nutshell. In fighting games, typically there are certain matchups that are seen as unfavorable. I'll give you an example. Any ranged character who can throw fireballs versus Zangief. In most fighting games, that is a game or a matchup where Zangief is going to have a disadvantage. He is huge, he's easy to hit, he's lumbering and slow, and it's very, very hard for him to get around fireball traps and or zoning. So in most cases, they'll say, oh, that's a mismatch. That's a counter pick. If you purposely pick a ranged character versus someone who you know is going to pick Zangief, you're giving yourself an unfair advantage in a tournament match. Okay? Sounds good? So that being said, in tournaments, here's what happens. They have what's called double blind pick. And you may not know what that means, so allow me to explain. If you're about to play a tournament matchup, you can request what's called double blind pick. What that means is that one person will whisper to the tournament director the character that they 100% are committing to pick during a match. Then the tournament director will instruct the other person to pick their character. They will not know what was whispered to the tournament director at all. So they have no idea who their opponent's going to pick. They'll pick a character, and then that first person who requested the blind pick then walks up and has to pick the character they told the tournament director they were going to pick. So essentially, it's a way for people on both sides to not know who their opponent is going to pick, basically eliminating the fact that there may be a blind or a counter pick scenario. Okay, now the problem with this is that if you know someone only picks one character, I'll give you an example. What if someone primarily only plays Balrog? All right, well then you know they're probably going to play Balrog anyway, so there's no reason for blind pick, because you know they're probably going to pick Balrog, and you could just pick the character that's good against Balrog, right? So essentially, if you're going to be a tournament player, all right, if you're going to be a person who's planning on competing at a high level, you need to be ready for all situations. You need to be ready for if you get a double blind pick and no one has any idea who you're picking, you need to be ready that if someone knows kind of who you're going to pick, you know what I mean? Like, if the best players out there, all right, either have a wide cast of characters that they can play with and so they could variate between them, or they specialize in one character to the point where they learn that character so much that they feel they can even win the matches that are not statistically in their favor. You're so good with Zangief that even if you're fighting someone who can zone you, you still know ways to get around it and try to, you know, it's going to take a lot more skill and effort, but you could get in and still beat that person, right? It's a totally different thing. It's interesting. It's a cool mechanic of competitive fighting games for sure. It's one that not a lot of people even understand anymore. But, yeah, I mean, the best players, there really is no consistency. Like, for me, yes, there are certain characters that I'm really good with in Super Turbo, but I learned enough. Like, I learned enough about the game that I understand other matchups. If I need to switch, I could go between Vega, Balrog, DJ. Those are three very different characters that I can go between on the fly if I need to. And by the way, I'm decent with a lot of the other characters too. If I want to play Old Saga, or I want to switch it up and go over to a Shoto, or I want to pick just a random match with freaking Bison, you know what I mean? I could do that. Honda. I could do one-off matches if I need to. I don't often do it, but in tournament settings, you know, I have that capability. So, there you go. I know it was a very convoluted answer. The bottom line is there really is no consistent answer. Everyone does it differently, all right? Some people only pick the one character and feel that they have to master them enough. Like for example, Jason Cole only picks Dalzim. He can play other characters, but his Dalzim is his character in tournament, period. He's learned the character to the point where he feels comfortable facing anyone with his Dalzim. But then there's other people who will variate and switch between different characters on scenarios. So there you have it. Thank you for the anonymous $5 tip. Let me go ahead and update the leaderboard. There you go. All right. Continuing on. Hold on. Yusuke, 14K, did a 50-bit cheer. He says, I will pray for you not to go against V-Kens and Akumas. Well, you know what, Yusuke? This is the last hurrah for those characters. So even if I do face them today and they are incredibly overpowered, cheap, and bullshit, I guess it's okay. This is the last day I ever have to face them, right? Rather than raging about it. Hold on. I could just kind of... Whoa, that did not work. I could just kind of laugh about it and say, well, at least it's the last time I ever have to put up with this bullshit, right? So thank you, Yusuke. You are the top cheerer. And then he actually cheered another 50 bits. And he said the following. He says, I'm glad I'm getting Ultra Street Fighter 4, but I hate that they won't let me use a keyboard on PS4 to play the game. I'm pretty much a keyboard warrior. That I don't know about. I don't actually know about the limitations of what peripherals can and cannot be used on consoles. I think there is a keyboard. Isn't there a keyboard that does work with PS4? But you're right, it may not work with the collection. I'm sure only certain controllers are compatible. So yeah, that does, I agree, that would stink. But however, you know, it does suck because I don't even think the Anniversary Collection is getting a PC port. You got to keep in mind, you could play all those games already on PC with a keyboard. You know what I mean? Like, there's already, via emulation and the like, you can already play all those classic Street Fighter games for free. So, just throwing that out there. Random Ghost cheered, and he said, well, what about your Switch fans? Why are you going to ignore us and not play Street Fighter with us? Well, as I've already said, I'm not. It's a money issue, and I cannot, you know, in good conscience, spend $60 on a version of the game I know will be the far inferior without covering the cost. Therefore, as I said, if we hit the subs goal, then I will commit to buying the Switch version of the game. So another incentive to subscribe to the channel if you are a Switch player and you want to play me in the collection. I will get it if we do hit the subs goal this month, but it's a long way, okay? Shout out to Sam Slayer 2012, who subscribed to the channel for the 12th month in a row and said, boom. Thank you, Sam Slayer, for the sub. And then Random Ghost showing his true colors, because I kind of suspected that this was the case anyway. But here we go, guys. Random Ghost revealing his true troll colors. Get ready, guys. Oh, so you won't play with us Switch players unless you get paid. That makes me sad. I have no one to play with. It's like, what? Like, dude, you just said 2 cheers ago. I quote, I will read it. I will get you to 450 subs if you get the Switch version of Street Fighter. So then I say, okay, well, if you'll do that, it'll cover the cost of me buying this version of the game I probably won't be playing a lot because of the lag. Oh, so you won't play with us unless you get paid? It's like, what? So, complete troll idiot. Pretty funny. You know what I mean? So, it's funny that this shit still happens. It's like, you're so stupid. Well, anyway, I mean, I already said it. I'm going to commit to it. If we do happen, through all of, you know, a lot of contributions here from people to hit the sub goal this month, then yes, I would consider, well, I will get the Switch version, but, I mean, 11 days left. It's going to be a tough sell, I think. By the way, the version I am getting right away is the PS4 version. I should say that up front. It is going to be the PS4 version of the game. All right, that I will be getting. And then it will be the Xbox One version if that person does actually gift me the code that they claim they're going to gift me, which I hope they do. That would be nice to be able to play it with my Xbox fans. And then, you know, last but not least, it'll be the Switch. Okay? Okay. So, that is it, guys, for the pre-stream. All right? Thank you, everyone, for your contributions. Thank you for being patient during the pre-stream. This is it. It's now time to begin with the final ever session of Ultra Street Fighter 2. I hope you guys are ready for this. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? I hope so. I hope you guys are ready. Alright, guys. Alright, that's it. Thank you very much. Let's end the pre-stream. And let us begin Ultra Street Fighter 2's final session. The last hurrah. The goodbye. The bon voyage. The adios. The sayonara. The arrivederci. The long kiss goodnight. Good night and good luck. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Alright, enough of this. Let's end and let's start. Here we go.